Dirty keto is the term used for following a keto diet without concern for food quality. For instance, order a burger from a fast food restaurant, throw away the carb-loaded bun, and only eat the burger and cheese. Dirty keto will never win any healthy eating awards, but can it be used as a way to keep your blood sugar low enough to stay on track when nothing else is available? And would it really be all that bad to just eat the burger with the bun? While wearing my non-prescription CGM from Levels, I went to McDonald's and picked up a few cheeseburgers to see how the separated ingredients of a fast food cheeseburger would affect my blood sugar, and what would happen if I ate the bun and burger combo. Here's what happened. First, I am not recommending a dirty keto lifestyle. However, I acknowledge that sometimes due to financial issues or availability, consuming processed meat and cheese and other low-quality foods may have to suffice. Also, the term is dirty keto, but low-carb dieters will experience these same scenarios from time to time. So regardless of your dieting style, eating foods that keep your blood sugar low is a priority. I am using a CGM from Levels to monitor my blood sugar. Levels is sponsoring this video. The company makes it possible for people without diabetes to get this preventative tool called a CGM, or continuous glucose monitor. You attach this little device to your skin, typically on your arm or belly, and it measures the fluid around your cells to gauge your blood sugar level. The Levels app then gives you continual updates with only a few minutes delay. Now, I do not have diabetes, but I am able to utilize Levels in return for them using my CGM data as part of their research study on glucose patterns in people without diabetes. This offer is extended to you as well, but you don't have to participate in the study. If you prefer not to, Levels will connect you with an asynchronous physician consultation to see if you qualify for a prescription. So Levels makes it possible for you to get CGMs, but they do not profit from the sale of the CGMs. They only make money from their annual membership fee. If you're interested in monitoring your blood sugar at home, signing up for a Levels membership and buying a month's supply of CGMs gives you a full month to see how the foods you eat affect you. There's no commitment to continue past that month. You can cancel anytime or control your costs by controlling how often you receive CGMs. You do not have to wear one every month. And if you use my link, levels.link/Dr. Becky to sign up, you'll get an additional 2 free months of their membership. A big advantage of Levels is that you get continual analysis of your blood sugar without the need for a finger prick. So it's very easy to see how food affects you. For this dirty keto test, we removed the bun because it is a high-carb food. Since carbohydrates, especially refined carbs like bread, are the foods that raise blood sugar the most, they are excluded from a keto diet. But I wanted to see just how much a hamburger bun would spike my blood sugar. So I bought a few plain cheeseburgers from McDonald's and pulled them apart as soon as possible to avoid too much fat seeping into the bun and keep the cheese from sticking to the bun. I then stuck them in the refrigerator so I could eat them in the following mornings. I did this because I wanted each component to be eaten on an empty stomach. At 7 a.m. on my first testing day, I snapped a picture of the bun, which logged it onto my timeline, gobbled it down, and let Levels do the analysis for me over the next 2 hours. Since the bun is a low-fiber refined carbohydrate with sugar added, yes, McDonald's adds sugar to their buns, I expected it to spike my blood sugar, and it did not disappoint. It immediately shot my blood sugar up by 169 milligrams per deciliter, receiving a score of 1 out of 10, which is the worst score awarded. Next, it was time to test the burger patty and cheese. This is the protein and fat portion of the meal. Since those nutrients have much less impact on blood sugar than carbohydrates, I expected to get a favorable blood sugar response after eating them. What I got, in actuality, was an okay response. It caused a gentle rise in glucose and was assigned a level score of 7 out of 10. So in terms of whether or not this will work as a dirty keto option, I would say yes. This is not health food, and it is not a big meal by any means, but if you are stuck with no better option than throwing away the bun and eating the cheeseburger patty, will keep your blood sugar stable enough to keep you on track. And I will also pass along some insider information from a very friendly McDonald's worker who told us that you can buy plain beef patties for $1 a piece. That may be a better option since it bypasses the cheese, which is more of a highly processed cheese-like product. What we have seen so far is that when it comes to blood sugar control, refined bread is the problem. When I ate the cheeseburger patty by itself, my blood sugar gently rose but stayed in control. So the question now becomes, is the control from the protein and fat enough to blunt the spike caused by the bun? In other words, would it be so bad to just eat the whole cheeseburger? I mean, it would be great, right? Who doesn't like a burger on a bun? So I put it to the test. Now, this is not the end-all be-all of food combining tests. Food combining has many facets. In its most formal sense, it is a diet that advocates eating specific combinations of foods to help with health and digestion. One of the rules of food combining is to avoid eating starches with protein. A bun is a starchy food. A burger patty and cheese contain protein. According to the food combination philosophy, this is a bad combination because the fast digestion of the bun and the slow digestion of the protein jam up your digestive tract. That's a theory that is hard to quantify, so I am looking at food combining through the lens of blood sugar. And I'm sorry to report that the whole cheeseburger resulted in a 1 out of 10. It caused a sharp 93-point spike. Now that was not as pronounced as the spike I received after eating the bun alone, shown in blue on this comparison screen, but it was still poor enough to get the worst score. Now remember that the initial spike is important because that shows the effect a food has on you. But with levels, you also get to see what happens in the hours after eating. And that is very useful because it gives you insights into your body's response to the foods you're feeding it. I took a screenshot of the hours after eating the full cheeseburger, and you can see that my body did what it was supposed to do. The food caused an initial spike, my pancreas released insulin to clear out the excess blood sugar, and I returned right back down to a stable blood sugar level. And while levels is not intended to be a definitive test for any condition, I would have been concerned if my blood sugar level stayed high or bounced up and down at a high level, indicating that insulin's attempt to move that sugar into my cells was meeting with resistance. In this experiment, we took a look at how the dirty keto technique of eating a bunless cheeseburger affected my blood sugar. I also tested a whole cheeseburger, which combined refined carbs with protein and fat. My conclusion? If you must rely on dirty keto to get through a bind, then it is a valid option. However, this is not a healthy or hearty meal, so keep it as infrequent as possible. As for combining nutrients, my experiment did not result in a favorable blood sugar response. However, the ratio of carbs to protein and fat is a factor to consider. I chose a fast food cheeseburger to simulate a real-world choice. When it is pulled apart, there is a big bun and a dismally small cheeseburger patty. Had this been a larger patty, I feel confident in saying that the response would have been better. I hope you found this video helpful. There are so many convenience foods out there and ways to combine nutrients, and all of these choices impact your blood sugar level. And all of us are different. Wearing a CGM, even if it is just for a month, is fun and often surprising. I find that wearing one acts like a coach looking over my shoulder, keeping me honest with my food choices. If you'd like to get levels for yourself, you can get an additional 2 free months of their annual membership by going to levels.link/Dr. Becky. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.